Hi, my name is Erica Amakuchi and welcome to vlog number 4 for IAH 207. So I want to start off by talking about Angels in America, episodes 2 and 3. I just want to add in real quick that this video will be primarily covering Angels in America, as my vlog number 3 primarily covered the gentrification of the mine, so I wanted to make sure I was covering both equally. So as I was watching, I was actually paying particular attention to juxtaposition of scenes and how different scenes went together with different characters. Angels in America is a perfect example of how AIDS does not discriminate. It affects people of all classes, all age groups, all races. It affects everyone. No amount of money can protect you from AIDS. So there's 3 different stories I see being told, and that is the one of Lewis and Pryor, and they represent just a normal couple trying to survive at the time of the AIDS epidemic. Then there's Roy, the big hotshot businessman who doesn't consider himself a homosexual, and has liver cancer and not AIDS. And then lastly, there's Joe. And Joe is a closeted gay person who is married to a woman, and they're not getting along so well. And there's 3 very separate narratives, and I think they're all included for a very specific purpose. Well, each of these characters are experiencing very, very different things. They're all experiencing them at the same time and surrounding a lot of the same content. And I think it's very interesting that the writer chose to include these multiple distinct characters that all come from different walks of life and different perspectives. And I think it really helps drive home the fact that AIDS didn't just impact one group of people. It impacted so many people from all walks of life. So the first character I'd like to look at is Roy. Roy is this big hotshot lawyer businessman who seemingly, as we know, has been involved in a lot of really big cases, and yet he's suffering from AIDS. He has AIDS. But as we know, society doesn't see him as someone who's even a candidate for AIDS. Due to this, it has caused Roy to act differently. For example, in episode 2, Joe and Roy are out at a fancy work dinner, and Joe asks Roy if he's feeling okay, but Roy just brushes it off like it's nothing. He doesn't acknowledge it or admit to not feeling okay. Due to Roy's high up status, he has to keep it all on the down low. But Pryor, on the other hand, is very outwardly suffering from it. Or perhaps we're just receiving a more in-depth look into Pryor's condition versus receiving a more surface level big picture look at Roy's condition. Throughout the show, but especially I noticed at the end of episode 2, there's really good juxtaposition of scenes, and the one I noticed the most was the one of Pryor and Lou fighting, and it was intermixed with scenes of Joe and Harper fighting, and I think that works to show the different perspectives of different people and how they were both experiencing different things but at the same time, and just that there are so many narratives of so many different people, and that AIDS and the whole epidemic have just affected people in so many different ways. And ultimately, at the end of the day, rich, young, poor, black, white, AIDS affected everyone in some way and deeply impacted the lives of so many people. So now I'd like to talk about what Chris Bailey said in his vlog number 3 about the gentrification of the mind. He basically said that the hand selection of LGBT representatives that were not representative of the population, it lessened the bite of the entire movement, is how he worded it. And I really, really liked how he worded that, because I think that it really it does a good job of explaining how that happened. I believe that strong word choice and careful word choice really have an impact on how one's message is perceived. I think Chris's careful word choice helped me to better understand what he was trying to say to the viewer. Lastly, I'd just like to mention how Chapter 6, the gentrification of literature, how it starts off with talking about the Amazon glitch. That really made me think of something that's happening currently. That made me think of how a lot of YouTube creators who talk about LGBT issues and education in that realm are getting demonetized right now, and they're getting their videos flagged and pulled down, and it just made me think of how these kind of issues are still happening today. They were happening when she wrote the book, and they're still current and happening today. Thanks for watching. See you Tuesday.